said that there has been a repeat of history twice in Afghanistan, and history doesn't seem to have taught a lesson to many of these great powers. Now, do you think the Chinese are going to make the same mistake?
Well, I have certain scenarios in mind regarding Pakistan, definitely. And that is one thing is very clear. Frankly, number one, the Pashtun community in Pakistan is not treated on par with the Punjabis, especially the Potwari area of Punjab. The Potiawar area of Punjab dominates the military in Pakistan. The military in Pakistan dominates Pakistan. And therefore, Punjabis got primacy in Pakistan, even over the Pashtuns. They're not happy about that, in my view. Pashtuns are people who don't accept primacy of anybody, anyone, and they fight back. And therefore, this Durand line, in effect, it's hardly there because people move here and there, and it's all impossible to police it. But the reality is that when you have groups in Pakistan who are resisting what they see as domination by a different ethnicity of the proud Pashtun people, resisting it by force, if I may say so, well, when they see that across this imaginary Durand line that they don't believe in, you have the Taliban, and the Taliban has finished off the United States. It has sent off the United States. If the Taliban can send off the United States, they'll be asking themselves why they can't send off the Pakistan military.
Right.
It's only a matter of time before that realization starts seeping into the mind and psyche of many Pashtuns in Pakistan who are unhappy at the overlordship of the Punjabis over them. They're a very proud people. They dislike any overlordship, and let's face it, the Durand line was artificially created. They should have been, the Pashtun areas of Pakistan should have been part of Afghanistan. At best, it should have formed an independent Pashtunistan, and maybe you have separate enclaves for Tajiks and Uzbeks and Hazaras. But it is a cruel injustice. And decades ago, that 99-year agreement ran out, and frankly, Pakistan, of course, ignored it, as does ignored every agreement ever, frankly. So I don't really like to say that from the Pakistan point of view, they have uncorked a genie which could turn out to be something very destructive of their, stability. They means the Pakistan military. I'd like to say, whenever I refer to Pakistan now, I'm referring to the military, because the military that counts in Pakistan. There's no point talking about poor Imran Khan or anything else or anybody else. It's the military and its satellite organizations, including extremist terrorist organizations, etc. That forms the complex that is known as Pakistan and which functions globally as Pakistan. So I'd like to say there will be certainly, in my opinion, inescapable consequences for Pakistan from the Pashtun awakening that I see. On the other side of the so-called Durand line, right, you have a very, if I may say so, a very crude attempt by GHQ Rawalpindi to have its own way in the new Taliban government. Veto some individuals because they are not seen as sufficiently pro-Pakistan, at least maybe deny them ministerships and make them deputy ministers, or remove them altogether, or send them to prison or worse or something. And that has been playing out in real time. And you have known, if I may say so, associates of the Pakistan military in very high positions in Afghanistan. Right. So from that point of view, there will be many people in the Taliban itself who will be uncomfortable at this, who are uncomfortable about that. And that is why I have always said there are two groups in the Taliban that are completely, if I may say so, influenced by Pakistan. there's one group that is strongly influenced by China. China has multiple ways of influencing people. They're extremely good at that. And one group is influenced by them. But 3 groups of the 6 are completely uninfluenced by China or Pakistan. And these 3 groups represent 90% of the young people. The other groups are comprising heavily of older people. These groups are young people. And these people are not interested in being under the control of China or Pakistan.
Right.
The pro-Pakistan group, the pro-China group wants them to come. They want their money, basically. And they basically want that. And they're willing to accept a certain subservient attitude to get that money, but not these other 3 groups. So there'll be tensions even within the Taliban in the future. There'll certainly be tensions between civil society, Afghan civil society, and the Taliban, because in 20 years, in between the 2 rules, the periods of Taliban rule, Afghan society has understood some of the freedoms that are there in democracies. Women in particular, the young in particular, the education system, the health system, all that has been the beneficiary of these freedoms. They've all been taken away at the drop of a hat, thanks to one, if I may say so, calamitous decision by President Joe Biden. And they're unhappy about it. But they're, many of them are being in different locations, being arrested, they're being tortured, many of them are being hung, they're being killed, unfortunately out of range of mobile phones or cameras because they ban internet access and things like that. But it's happening. But even then, finally, that head of steam will build up.
Right.
And inside the Taliban, the head of steam of those who are proud Pashtuns and who will not accept, overlordship by China or Pakistan, that's also building up. So I think over time, these 2 countries are going to find it very difficult to confront the situation in Afghanistan, just as the Russians did.
Right.
I predicted long back that Afghanistan will be for China what Afghanistan was for Russia.
Right.
And what frankly it became for the United States.
Right.
By mistakes in US policy.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.